And Jabba joins us now with his Sunday movie reviews, and Marvel's latest blockbuster has hit cinemas as well after lengthy pandemic delays, Jabs. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings was shot in Sydney last year. It features Marvel's first Asian superhero. How does it stack up against the other Marvel films?
Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Mon. Good morning, everybody, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. This one, I think, is primed for Father's Day. It's about a dad and about a son, namely Sean, who's played by Canadian actor Simu Liu, who is still just in shock about playing Marvel's first Asian superhero. It's the first Marvel film to introduce a new hero since Captain Marvel in 2019, the first Marvel film with an Asian lead, and the first Marvel blockbuster to play only in cinemas since the pandemic began in March last year. So it's safe to say there's a lot riding on the shoulders of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Sean, along with his best friend Katie, played by Awkwafina, they live a pretty normal life parking cars in San Francisco when a mysterious postcard turns up. And guess what? He's actually linked to a mysterious criminal organisation called the Ten Rings, a criminal empire first flagged in the first Iron Man film. But it's built around the power of the 10 ancient rings that his dad wears around his arms to generate blasts of energy. Understandably, it's a lot to take in.
I should also probably mention that my name's not technically Sean.
What is it?
It's Shang-Chi.
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 Shang.
Shan.
Shang.
Shan.
S-H-A-N-G. Shang.
Shang?
Yeah.
You changed your name from Shang to Sean? That's so good.
Awkwafina is fantastic. Epic action and a lot of laughs in this one. A martial arts comedy blockbuster. 3.5 stars for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Screening in those parts of Australia open and coming to New South Wales, Victoria, etc. soon.
Good. She's great, isn't she? Now, I want to ask you about this new documentary revealing more about the chaos of the September 11 terrorist attacks. This is very interesting from the US president's perspective.
So, Mon, I think for many of us, 9/11 is our moon landing, or our generation's moon landing. I'll never forget being woken up at night by my friend Paulie B ringing and saying, "Wake up, put the TV on, the world is ending." Of course, most of us were transfixed to the TV to find out what was happening. Turns out that the US leadership were also watching TV to try and find out what the hell was happening. As George W. Bush says in the documentary, it went from being an accident with one plane to a terrorist attack with the second plane to America at war. This is an unprecedented look inside the 12 or 24 hours from the events unfolding inside the president's Air Force One, to the different Air Force bases that he flew around to, trying to work out what was the best course of action. Now, regardless of what you think about Bush, what you think about the events of 9/11, this is an incredibly compelling piece of documentary cinema, and it's voiced by Jeff Daniels, who of course stars in The Looming Tower. Yes, he's also in Dumb and Dumber. Wow. It's a painstaking account of an infamous day. 5 stars, wow. And it will be free to stream on Apple TV Plus on September 11 in commemoration of that date.
Even 20 years on, that vision is so difficult to watch.
It's interesting that it may have taken 20 years for them to be able to just get that perspective and to be okay to be revealing all of this information about what was happening from their perspective, Jab.
Condi Rice talks, George W. Bush talks, a lot of people, Karl Rove, a lot of people on record that we haven't really seen speak about the events before. So a very, very intimate and quite harrowing portrayal of what went down and the decisions that were made about how best to respond, because they didn't know what had happened.
It'd be difficult to watch for the families of the Australian victims too, which are coming up to
all victims.
Tough anniversary.
Can I just ask, you might not be able to remember this, so a question without warning. How many 5 stars have you given this year?
This year, that's a very good question.
Not many.
In the Heights was 5 stars. That doco there was 5 stars. I've got a movie that's 5 stars for next week about a deaf family called Coda, which is also on Apple TV Plus. Some great stuff.
That looks good, actually.
That's sensational, of course. Trying to pivot to streaming. Cinderella, which is an Amazon Prime video. We spoke to Pierce Brosnan yesterday. That is a lot of fun, from the director and creator of Pitch Perfect.
And can you what was the verdict on Clickbait?
On Clickbait, I haven't watched the whole series, so I look forward to seeing how it wraps up, because it is off to an incredible start.
Okay. That was very diplomatic.
Yeah, it was. Thank you, Jabs.
Given that you got the interview with Adrian Grenier. Thank you.
We'll chat soon.